Great to have you back in my kitchen. We're making bean soup today.
A navy bean soup, to be exact.
We're starting with 2 cups of navy beans, pre-soaked overnight in water.
There are some other ingredients we'll be using for a bean soup. I love adding smoked meat to my beans. You don't have to do it. Of course, soup will be just as good. However, I love the flavor of smoked meat in my bean soup. So in this case, I'm using some smoked ribs. We're gonna add some garlic. We already mentioned we'll be using 2 cups of navy beans, a couple of bay leaves, some onions, black pepper, Hungarian paprika, and some salt. Okay, let's get our beans going. I'm just gonna start the fire and let them cook on medium-high for 10 minutes. We're not adding anything yet to our beans because once it boils, we're gonna drain this first water and then we're gonna pour fresh water over our beans. Beans have been boiling for the past 5 minutes, and now we're gonna take it off the stove, drain it, and pour fresh water. Okay, let's drain our beans. This is one way to drain them, just by moving a little bit, or you can use a strainer, which is much safer. Here goes fresh water, and we are back on the stove. A good tip for cooking beans is to maintain about 2 to 3 inches of water at any time above the actual beans. And now it's a good time to add bay leaves. We have a couple of bay leaves here. Cover it nice and tight and let it cook. Not all beans take the same amount of time to be cooked. Some beans might take an hour and some beans might take as long as 3 hours. What's even more interesting is that sometimes a same kind of bean might take an hour or 3 hours to cook, and that very much depends on a year of harvest. For instance, if you have beans from last year's harvest, they might cook much faster than beans from 3 years, harvested 3 years ago. 20 minutes into cooking, and let's see how our beans are doing. It's looking good. And now it's time to add smoked meat to our soup. Listen to this. This sound has such a calming effect on me. I remember hearing the sound when I was little, and outside it was snowing, and this sound was so comforting and so relaxing. I just love listening to it. As beans cook, don't forget to periodically check on them and make sure that you have enough water. Remember the rule, about 2 to 3 inches of water above the beans. Our bean soup has been cooking for about an hour and a half, and I can see that beans are becoming soft, so now it's time for the final touch. And for the final touch, all we need is some onions, some garlic, and some celery. Salt, pepper, and Hungarian paprika, and that's all that it takes. So let me show you how we're going to finish this. I'm going to add about half a cup of olive oil in a frying pan, maybe a little bit more, maybe about 3/4 cup. We're going to let it heat up, and then I'm going to add our onions. Here we go with a head of onions. Here's a little more. Just put the onions in first because onions need to cook longest. Okay, and then we're going to let them cook for a little while. While onions are cooking, we're going to get back to celery. We have 3 sticks of celery here. Okay, we're going to chop it in a nice small pieces. I got celery chopped. Now I'm going to chop about 7 cloves of garlic, medium-sized garlic. I'm going to add it all to the frying onions. Now there are 2 different ways you can chop your garlic. I, for some reason, like making little strips like this and just cutting it sideways. But this way of cutting have made some of you very nervous. But however, more familiar way is just doing this and then chopping it okay? And then chopping it like this, which is, again, it's good. You just pick whichever way works out best for you. Either way, it works.
When onions are halfway cooked, add celery. And now we're going to add garlic and let it cook for about a minute or so. And now I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of Hungarian paprika. Mix it well and let paprika cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then we're going to combine this with our bean soup. Okay, and now it's time to combine it all. I'm going to put our vegetables in the soup. Mix it and let it cook for another good half an hour. Now it's a good time to add some pepper, black pepper, and salt per your taste. I'm not adding any salt because smoked meat had a lot of salt and it was enough for the soup. Our bean soup is finally ready, so let's serve it. With some freshly ground black pepper. And the only thing that's missing are these beautiful red pickled peppers. I pickled these last year. We had some hot peppers in our garden, and there we go. Just like that. And now we're ready to enjoy our soup. I hope you like this recipe. It's simple and it's very old-fashioned, but still it will deliver the taste and goodness every time. A perfect bean soup calls for perfect hot piece of bread. So serve it with a home-baked bread. And if you would like to learn how to make a home-baked bread like this one, just visit us on one of our videos on how to make a home-baked bread and enjoy it. Look at this. With this hot soup, it will be delicious. I love to cook for many reasons. Some of them are just the coziness, comfort, and aroma home cooking brings to home. I love a good life and I love good food. But to live a good life, you need to fuel your brain and your body with right kinds of foods. I wish to be helpful and encouraging to all of you to start eating better, feeling better, and living your best life ever.